Ciao Ferrari fans! So today we're going to take a look at this new Kyosho that came into my collection and a little history here. Well, actually before I talk about the car, let's look at this. This is from Ferrari collection number 11. I think there's 12 collections, although I don't have models from every collection yet. This is a model kit one, and if you want to pause, here's all the other ones from this collection. Okay. This is already assembled for me. Here are the colorways, and 605 PS, around 600 horsepower, and the Speciale A, I guess, is more powerful than the regular 458, so that's probably what that is. And the model kit's not that hard to put together if you do get one in model kit form. Okay, I took it out of the packaging to save some time here. Okay, so a little history now. The 458 Italia, it's the replacement for the F430, and it came out in 2009, and ultimately, like this model I'm holding in my hand, ended the production in 2015. It was a totally new design for Ferrari, totally different from the F430. Had a 7-speed transmission, a whole lot of electronics, dual clutch, automatic gearbox, E differential, traction control, magnetic shocks. The regular car had deformable winglets in the front, although this one doesn't. And then the carbon ceramic brakes would actually pre-fill. So once you let off the gas, it would actually move the brake pads closer to the rotors, so you'd have quicker braking time, because it anticipates if you're letting off the gas, you probably want to brake next. So that's pretty cool. Anywho, the Speciale A stands for Aperta, which is Italian for the word open, and basically it's a convertible or a roadster. And only 499 of these roadsters were made in real life. And the uprated engine here of this 4.5-liter naturally aspirated V8 is around 600 horsepower. So it'll do 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds and get almost up to 200 miles per hour. Okay. So hopefully you compare it to those photos and can decide for yourself if you think it looks good enough. I shall decide after I go over it with the dental pick. Alright, so these wheels, they do look quite realistic to the actual car. Ideally there'd be air passing between those spokes, but I'm not sure if it's possible for that. I mean, those are pretty narrow, right? At least for production. If I 3D printed them, I could probably do it, but if I want to make thousands or millions of them like Kyosho, maybe it's smarter that they block it off like that. The center detail's alright. It looks like it's, it still has like lug nuts and the center cap, so that looks pretty good. This is just a plain white. It's not metallic or anything like that. It's just a regular opaque white. We got the Ferrari badge, looks good. A little printed on orange marker there, looks alright. A little blue is printed on here nicely. Door handle sticks out. Mirrors have no reflectivity, being a blister pack Kyosho. Unfortunately, what is this? I don't know if that's like paint rash or a contaminant. You know what? Actually, what's the box say? The box says this is from 2015, so this is like 6 years old now. Okay, gives us an idea about the paint quality. Little fuel filler. Panel lines are pretty good, really tight. Yeah, looks good. So the regular road car has some winglets that can reduce drag at high speed, but this one seems to have gotten rid of it, because this is supposed to be, the Speciales are supposed to be the more track-oriented versions of the 458. What is, there's like a Ferrari horse there. I didn't expect that. So that's interesting. It's kind of weird that they would have that there if the logo's already there. I mean, who's going to see that? Well, anyhow, Kyosho replicated it alright, and you can see this little texture in these pretty deep grill vents here. Okay, so the headlights, yeah, they look alright. Typical Kyosho, clear lens and some sort of like molded, I think, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can kind of see like some, it looks like there are dots there, like the LEDs are lined up. So it's probably like molded black plastic back there to simulate that. Little black paint here and here, which would be, I think, vents for the real car. And then the little pressure relief vents here. Those look alright. This blue and white stripe is tampo printed. It's not a decal, so that should be durable in the long run. And it's actually centered, so that's good. The Ferrari logo, it's a little bit big. It could be smaller when I look at photos of the real one. This has a texture as well, these little outlets there. What about this side? Any quality problems? It's really hard for the camera to focus on a white car, I think. But anyways, I don't really notice anything wrong, so that's good. No brake systems on a Kyosho blister. Alright, so the back end. So, okay, maybe it's better to hold it upside down. So look at this, it's nice, you know, the contrast of the blue. We got texture here, looks good. Little red reflectors look good. The exhaust tips look great. They're dimensional, they're painted silver on the rims. Little details there. The Ferrari prancing horse looks pretty good. Third brake light. This black texture. I think this is printed on. I think this is actually part of the casting and they printed on black. Translucent red tail lights look good. Little black paint here on the engine vents there. And then this blue stripe continuing from the front is nicely laid up. No major misprinting. Oh, there's a little Ferrari there as well. And it's probably legible knowing Kyosho. Yeah, it is. It's hard to see being on a white background, but it's there. And then the interior, typical black plastic from Kyosho blisters. Maybe this will help out. But they have a lot of molded details. You can see the Maniteto's knobs on the steering wheel there. Yeah, okay, so no problems. There's even a texture on the floor. It kind of looks like a wood grain though. The seats have some interesting molding details. Okay. What's the bottom looking like? I'm sure that's what the bottom of a modern Ferrari looks like. Just as flat as possible for aerodynamics. Some veins here. This tire tread looks alright. Staggered tires, wider in the rear. And it's nicely screwed together, so if you want to do a wheel swap or maybe paint that interior, feel free to do so. So, all in all, it's a great model. I'm going back to this. Maybe, where did that go? There's a tiny little dot there. It's really small. Could be, hopefully it's just a contaminant and not paint rash. So anyways, I would say this is a great model if you like Ferraris, if you like 458s, you like two-seat convertibles. I feel like this is something you might want to pick up. I got this off eBay. I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't particularly cheap, but I want to get one of every Ferrari chassis in my collection here. So it looks good. Let's compare it to a couple other things here. A long time ago, when I first started collecting, I bought this resin model, and this is from Scale Mini, and I really like the tricolore, paint, because one side is red. If I get bored, I just look at the other side. And particularly, I do like green because you don't see too many green Ferraris. But this is a resin model, so its details are just they're different level. Obviously, this one does have brakes. In this case, they look like they're photo etched metal, so that looks like a bent piece of metal back there. And then you can see the brake rotor back in there. It's got a little photo etched dimples for the holes that are drilled through the rotors. And then look at these headlights. I mean, that's far more detailed or more apparent than the Kyosho, right? You got these tiny little metal struts here holding this chin spoiler on, so that's pretty impressive. And then look at this engine here. You got some color, you got some printing on it, so that's looking good. This carbon fiber weave looks pretty sweet. And then the mirrors are going to have reflector stickers in there. Hopefully, there you go. Hopefully you can see that. Tiny thin photo etched metal struts here for the wings. So, well, I'm trying to think what I paid for this. I can't remember. It was over half a year ago. But whatever I paid for this, I think it's worth it. It's clearly far more detailed than that. In fact, I think I may have gotten ripped off on this, and this is actually a better value. I mean, this has got photo etched wiper blades, and look at the windows in particular. They're extremely thin. There's almost no distortion. That distortion might actually just be the angle of the glass. So, I mean, to be able to look through the rear window and then the front windshield, and the pick has no distortion, that's what you're getting with resin models. You know, that's another thing. It's not one molded piece of plastic. It's literally 4 different pieces of plastic, like a real car, you know, for the windows. Whereas this, well, that's a convertible, but if it's a coupe, it would have one piece doing all the windows. Okay, well, let's pop that up here. It's really the only other 458 I have, so I don't have the coupe. So maybe someday I'll get a coupe version. But that's it for today. Okay, so thanks for watching, and tune in for the next review. Thanks.